Hello friends, this is Adam with Movie Guy 365, and with Disney Plus getting ready to launch in just under a week, I thought it would be fun to give you my top 10 list of Pixar films. If you're new to the channel, please hit the like button, subscribe, hit that bell notification. I put out videos every single day. You can also find me over Twitter and Instagram at Movie Guy 365, as well as over at the Disney Magic Hour podcast. I will leave a link for that in the description. Okay, Disney Plus is getting ready to launch here in the United States in just under a week. I'm extremely excited for this. So yesterday I thought it would be fun to do a top 10 list of my favorite animated films in Disney that you can probably check out over at the streaming service when it launches. And today I thought I would do my Pixar list, and this is a very good list in my opinion. I think a lot of these are going to be your favorites as well. And of course there's not nearly as many available choices as there would be in the animation list. Disney animation has been a thing since the 30s. So Pixar, of course, decidedly less time. It pretty much started up at Disney over in the mid-90s. So of course this is going to be a slightly smaller list, but I think there's some amazing titles in here. And one of the things, like, as far as when I was ranking my animated classics, there was like levels of like, oh, I really love this movie, but this one is clearly my top 10 or my bottom 10. But with Pixar, that was very hard. I would argue that my 5 are so close together. Kept switching the order here and there, but I don't know. I think these are a lot closer than the animated films. And of course, please leave in your comments what your top 10 films are. What are your favorite Pixar movies are on your personal list? So, starting with number 10 is going to be the original Toy Story. I think Toy Story really I feel it holds up. And recently it came out on 4K, and it looks absolutely fantastic in that format, but it just reminded me how much it was a good movie. And you can see the technological changes from the original Toy Story all the way up until, you know, Coco and The Incredibles 2 and the more recent films. It's a night and day difference, but it doesn't make it any less of a good story, and it's still like really just holds a place in my heart. It's really a great film. My number 9 is going to be Toy Story 3. I personally like this one a little bit more. It has such a powerful ending, and the animation is fantastic as always. It was a perfect end to a trilogy, and unfortunately, I feel that it was kind of tarnished with Toy Story 4. I've recorded my thoughts plenty of times on my feelings about the movie, but Toy Story 3 I think is infinitely the best film in the series. And it breaks your heart, and it has like a hopeful ending. So I really enjoyed that one. I just wish 4 could have like honored it, or just, you know, maybe not even been made, or kind of rebooted it at some point. But I think Toy Story 3 is still like the best of the series. My number 8 is going to be Monsters, Inc. This one, I probably have seen this one a lot more than most on the list, and it's a great combination. Billy Crystal, John Goodman. It's so great. It's very early Pixar. I believe it was the 3rd or 4th movie in the lineup, and it still holds up incredibly well. I think it's definitely one of the best on the list, and it's absolutely a classic. I mean, so many great moments. That ending gets me every single time. It's so good. It's so fun, and I just wish they would kind of do it more in the parks. I know we have a couple things over in Florida that we get to enjoy. California has their ride, and they also have a couple over in Paris and so forth. But I would love to see more Monsters, Inc. representation over in the parks. And I know we're getting a Monsters at Work series on Disney Plus, so I'm excited to check that one out. I just hope we get good level quality. That's what Disney Plus is really selling us on, is like the quality, and I'm really hoping that we get that with the series. My number 7 is going to be Finding Nemo. Love this movie so much, and this was in my top 3 up until recently because it's so fun. I mean, that just goes to show you how Pixar just evolves, and they keep getting better and better. Very occasional misses here and there, which obviously there's going to be a glaring omission on this list, but it's as far as franchises go. But come on, I mean, Finding Nemo, it's so endearing. It has that really strong, like, emotional first, you know, the end, or the pre-credits scene, and of course the ending is like really nice and great, and it's just, and Albert Brooks, you know, I'm a casual Albert Brooks fan. Like, I like certain movies that he's done, but I feel that this was definitely one of my favorites that he's ever done on voiceover for, and it's just a good overall flick. My number 6 is going to be Ratatouille. Recently rewatched this one again, and it just reminds me of how awesome this film is. You know, Patton Oswalt, I feel, It's probably his staple as far as voiceover work goes, and just overall, just what he's done with his career. I mean, he's really good in like his bit parts and that sort of thing, but as kind of a lead character, he really brings a lot to Remy, and it's a fantastic story. I love it a lot, and there's just so much to enjoy. I rewatched it on 4K, and it looked amazing in the format. I mean, if you haven't seen Ratatouille, and I feel this one gets overlooked, definitely do yourself a favor, watch Ratatouille. My number 5 is going to be Coco. Love this movie. I absolutely love it. Just rewatched this with my wife the other day, and it's so good. I mean, it is so like a great music, and it's not a musical by any stretch, but there's some fantastic music that the characters sing. There's a lot of earworms in this one, and animation-wise, it is breathtaking. Just so much. I own this both in 4K and 3D. Both offer their great different experiences, but it's so good, and it is an absolute must-have. It's really, it really deserves to be higher on the list, but just amazing film altogether. I just love watching it, and it's something I watch all the time. We just enjoy it so much here in the household. My number 4 is going to be Up. I challenge you to find a first 5 minutes as emotional as this movie. Like, it is a gut punch. You're barely out of the logo at the opening, and within 5 minutes you're just like, the tears are there and the emotional impact, and it doesn't get nearly as heavy for the rest of the film, but there's an emotional resonance throughout the movie, and that ending is near perfect. I love the ending shot. It's also one of my favorite ending shots in any movie. It's just an amazing film. I get very emotional. Once again, it's another one that you can just go back to, and it never gets old. It's fantastic. Really, one of the best movies here on the list. My number 3 is going to be WALL-E. WALL-E is a absolutely beautiful movie. It is also, I feel, one of their underappreciated films on the Pixar list. It's great. You know, it's not a lot of dialogue, and it's very, you know, almost silent filmish in at least the first half of the film. But the animation, I still maintain, is one of the best we've ever seen. I would say, I'd put it, if I was doing best animation, this would be probably in like top 2, 3 at the most. I would put Coco up there as well, but it is such a beautiful movie. That 2 robots, you know, you can buy the love story, and it's while the humans are part of it a little bit, they aren't the main focus, and I love that about the film. I was afraid that, you know, we're going to get the first half of WALL-E, and then once we interact with humans, then he's kind of a background character. No, like they focus on him all the time in this movie, deservedly so, and once again, Pixar knows how to push those emotional buttons, and they do that in spades on WALL-E. Just absolutely beautiful. I cannot wait for this to come out on 4K, hopefully sooner rather than later. My number 2, Inside Out. Once again, recently rewatched this one, and I think, honestly, it has so much. This is all about emotion, and it hits all the right chords. And the voice cast, I think, probably more than any other of the film, is what really sells this one. Amy Poehler is just magical as Joy. Mindy Kaling, you know, Lewis Black, Bill Hader. I mean, such a great cast in this one. I don't think there was a weak link here in the whole chain. Beautiful animation, amazing story, very emotional. It has all the benchmarks of a great, just an incredible film, and I get slightly emotional thinking about it. Honestly, it's that good. You know, we follow Riley's journey, and honestly, the end credits is also some of the funniest I've ever seen. It's just some great stuff. But it is pretty much like a near perfect movie. I could go on all day about Inside Out. And my number 1 is The Incredibles. Now, why I love this movie so much is because it's almost like the best Fantastic Four movie we never got, and it came out at a time when the superhero franchises weren't what they are today. I mean, now it's like, you know, we got Marvel, DC, everything under the sun, comic book movies all the time. But back when The Incredibles came out, they were very few and far between. Most of them weren't good, and this one is not only good, it's great. Near perfect. I mean, it is a near perfect movie in my opinion. I mean, it is so just like a very great movie, and it's a lot of fun, adventure. I mean, Syndrome is still one of my favorite villains. You know, it's very, you know, fourth wall breaking at that time, and Greg T. Nelson, just love it. I just love this one so much, and it makes it worse is like the sequel was kind of a letdown in my opinion, and kind of like a lot of the sequels as you see aren't on this list. Obviously, there's no Cars movies or anything like that, but for me, The Incredibles is my personal favorite on the list. It's still very endearing, and it's a fun movie. It just recently go back to that one, and it holds up really well. So that's my Pixar list. Most of these should be available on Disney Plus on November 12th, so check those out. But please let me know in the comments what your favorite Pixar movies are. In the meantime, please like, subscribe, hit that bell notification. I put out videos every single day. So until next time, this is Adam with Movie Guy 365. I will see you at the movies.